Hello everybody and welcome to another Destiny build video. Today is actually a pretty insane build, and I actually mean it like crazy this time. This build is going to allow you to have Restoration and Radiant up at all times, and at a point it's going to allow you to literally get health on every single kill, and I'm not joking. So there is a bit of a change to Solar Hunter lately, and I think it's been very overlooked, overshadowed by almost everybody, especially by me, and I will admit that. So there was a recent change where every single final blow you get will literally give you Cure. So this is basically a way that hunters can have Devour on the Solar subclass. It's actually a little bit insane, but it makes this build feel amazing. Every kill is healing you. You're always healing thanks to Restoration. You always have bonus damage and shield piercing rounds thanks to Radiant. And the most important part of this build, almost infinite golden guns. As you can see, I haven't even broken the first anchor here in a Call to Arms Ultimate Difficulty solo op. And I literally already have a golden gun. And golden gun recently also got a buff that allows it to basically refund ammo and duration on every single kill, allowing it to get up to near like 20 kills before it actually runs out. I think I get about 17 here to be exact. I could be wrong by 1 or 2, but it is very, very good. So let me show you how to put this build together so that you can use it for yourself. So starting off here, we're going to start with our exotic of choice, which is going to be the Star Eater scales. Star Eater scales are going to make us that we gain additional super energy from orbs of power that we pick up. And while our super energy is full, picking up an orb of power will overcharge our super, causing it to gain a burst of healing when we cast it, and a bonus to the super damage. At maximum overcharge, you also gain an overshield. So this is going to be a very, very helpful exotic. This is how we're going to be able to get our super back incredibly fast. And we're going to pair it over here with our stats at a 100 super. Now, I have an 80, but that's just because my armor doesn't exactly let me get there. You're going to want to have a 100 super stat. That is going to be the main goal for this build. And then other stats are entirely up to you. You can put up your weapon stat if you want. That way you do a little more damage. You can put up your melee stat, obviously, so that way you get back your melee a little bit quicker, so you can proc Radiant. Obviously, health is also pretty good since we're going to be picking up a ton of orbs, so why not get pretty much a full health bar back on orb pickups? So the stats are entirely up to you. And now for the weapons, this is going to be a bit of a tricky one. So you're going to want to use a solar weapon. Now, I am going to recommend for exotics that you go with Traveler's Chosen. Because not only do you want a solar weapon, but you want a solar weapon that can give you back your grenade energy, and if you can, also melee and some class ability. So Traveler's Chosen obviously is going to do that because you can consume stacks of Gathering Light to get back melee, grenade, and class ability energy. So that's going to be a pretty nice way to get back your abilities. And because of the Catalyst, using your grenade ability will switch it to a solar weapon. So Traveler's Chosen is a phenomenal choice, and is honestly my recommendation. Another good choice is going to be Tessellation. You can use Tessellation because it refunds 20% grenade energy on every kill. And it's also a very high damaging special ammo weapon, so it's always a nice one to have into a build. Other good choices include legendary weapons with Demolitionist, Pugilist, Specialist, etc. that are going to refund your abilities on kills. But you're going to want it to be a solar weapon for sure, so make sure that the element is solar. And then secondary, make sure you have something that can refund some ability energy. And now moving over to our subclass, which is going to be pure solar, which is Gunslinger. So we're going to want to go ahead and put on Golden Gun Deadshot. Deadshot is the Golden Gun variant that's going to allow it to refund bullets and extend its super duration on kills. And of course, it's also going to benefit from being Radiant. Then for our dodge, we're going to put on Gambler's Dodge. Gambler's Dodge is going to refund our melee ability when we use our dodge. So just a nice little way that we're going to get Radiant back a little bit quicker should we run out of its timer, which we shouldn't, obviously, unless there's no enemies in sight. For your jump, go ahead and use whatever jump you are most comfortable with. For your melee, you can technically theorize that you can go with any of these in theory, but Knife Trick is pretty much the easiest, most guaranteed kill one. So I recommend putting on Knife Trick, but if you really, really, really want to swap it off to one of these, you can go ahead and do so. And for your grenade, you're going to want Healing Grenade. Healing Grenade is what's going to allow us to get Restoration. We don't have a way of getting it otherwise, so we're going to want to use Healing Grenade. Now for our aspects, we're going to use Knock 'em Dead. Honestly, it's kind of great because this gives our Deadshot Golden Gun some damage resistance, but the main reason we're using this one is that way while we're Radiant, final blows with our equipped throwing knife will fully refund our melee, aka our throwing knife. So just a nice little way that we can chain a bunch of throwing knife kills. And then our second aspect is going to be On Your Mark. So this is the key one right here. So activating your class ability or landing precision hits will grant you and nearby allies increased reload speed and weapon stat. And it's going to stack up to 10 times. But final blows while at 10 stacks will cure you. So this is the big one right here because there's no cooldown. So every final blow while you're at 10 stacks literally give you cure, which is obviously just a burst of healing. So this is literally Devour on the Solar subclass for hunters. It's absolutely crazy, and I can't believe I completely missed it when this happened, because I know that was not an original, but that is pretty sweet. So we're going to want to use On Your Mark. And moving over here to the fragments, we're going to start with Ember of Empyrean. This is going to make our solar weapons or ability final blows extend restoration and radiant. That is obviously why we want to use a solar weapon. Then we're going to use Ember of Torches. That way our powered melee attacks against combatants make us radiant. That is going to be obviously a great thing, so that way we can refund our throwing knives, and also that way we just deal some more damage. Next will be Ember of Mercy. That way when we revive an ally, we get restoration, but also picking up a fire sprite will grant restoration. Just a nice little way to try to keep up restoration timer. Should obviously there be less enemies, meaning you're not getting as many kills to keep up the timer. Next will be Ember of Tempering. This way our solar weapon final blows give us increased health for a short duration. And then while that's active, our weapons will also gain airborne effectiveness, but our solar weapon final blows will create a fire sprite, which obviously fire sprites are going to give us restoration thanks to Ember of Mercy. So just another way that we're going to keep up restoration. And last but not least is going to be Ember of Solace. Obviously this one's pretty great. This is allowing radiant and restoration effects to have a massively increased duration. And obviously restoration is going to keep us alive for longer, and radiant theoretically will also do the same thing, because the faster we can kill enemies, the faster we can have less things shooting at us. So that is going to be a key part of this build, Ember of Solace. And that is going to be everything in the subclass that we need to create this ultimate solar hunter build. Now, of course, every build needs its armor mods. So let's start over here with our helmet. So starting off with a double harmonic siphon, this is going to allow our rapid solar final blows to create an orb of power. So these will obviously be a nice, easy way to get some orbs, and obviously having multiple of these on is going to increase the amount of super you get back, which is why we put on 2. And then I'm going to run a super font here, so that way I can get a plus 20 to my super stat, so that way I can round out my super from an 80 to a 100. Now, even if you're at a 100 or higher, this is going to increase your damage of your golden gun, meaning bigger enemies are going to be pretty much easier to one-tap. So it's actually not a bad thing to have on, even if you're at or over a 100. Then for your gauntlets, you're going to put on double heavy-handed. This way we only have a 5/4 second cooldown between every time our powered melee final blows can create an orb of power. So just another way that we're going to get a ton of orbs. And then we're going to pair it with impact induction. That way when we cause damage with a powered melee attack, it will reduce our grenade cooldown so we can get back our healing grenade a little bit quicker. Now for the chest piece, you can go on and put 2 resistance mods of whatever you'd like. You can also swap out the ammo generation for a third if you would like. You can absolutely do that. So you can put on technically an arc, a solar, and a void in each slot, 1 each. You can do whatever you need to do for the activity that you're running. Now I'm going to actually run solar ammo generation, so that way it increases the ammo generation of solar weapons. This is going to allow me to obviously get some quicker ammo, so that way I can get my heavy back, or maybe special depending on what I'm using. Personally, I kind of like that idea, and then running a melee and a sniper damage resistance, but it is entirely up to you which ones you want to run. Now for your boots, I'm going to run an insulation so that every time I pick up my orb, it will reduce my class ability cooldown. Obviously, that's great because when my class is back, I can use it to refund my melee. And then I'm going to run double solar weapon surges. This way I get a 17% bonus damage to my solar weapons, which will be Traveler's Chosen, Tessellation, or obviously any other legendary weapon, or exotic if you decide to go a different route. So that is going to be a great one to have on, since we're always going to be picking up orbs and always going to be having surges active. And last but not least, for our class item, we're going to run a powerful attraction. That way, when we use our dodge, any nearby orbs are automatically picked up. And then double Reaper mods. That way, we have a 5 to 4 second cooldown yet again. On when we use our dodge, our next weapon, Final Blow, is a confirmed spawn for an Orb of Power. Just another way that we're going to guarantee confirm getting us Orbs of Power, which obviously is the entire point of Star Eaters, is picking up Orbs of Power. So it is entirely a synergized build. Now, of course, the artifact is going to enhance every build pretty much ever made. So we're going to check out some artifact mods that are going to enhance this build. But I will make it perfectly clear that you do not need the artifact mods to make this build work. It's just going to enhance it. So that it means that even when Renegades drops, this build is going to be perfectly good to use. So we'll start off here with an unstoppable sidearm and hand cannon. The only reason I'm highlighting this one, which I normally don't highlight the champion mods, is because obviously if you're using Traveler's Chosen, it's a sidearm, so it's a pretty good one to use. So if you're using Traveler's Chosen, you're probably going to want to put this one on for endgame content. Next, we're going to have is Refresh Threads and Elemental Coalescence. So this is going to make it so that when we defeat targets, it will have a chance to create an elemental pickup, matching our super, which is going to be Fire Sprites since we're on Solar. And then we're going to have Refresh Threads. That way, when we pick up the Fire Sprites from any source, it will go ahead and give us some energy to our least charged ability. That way, we can get back a little more ability energy than what it already gives. Then we're going to have Reciprocal Draw on. This is going to make us that rapid non-sidearm final blows will grant sidearms a period of increased damage for a short time upon its next draw. This is obviously good if you're using Traveler's Chosen or maybe a legendary sidearm like Drang. If you're not, then obviously you do not need this mod. Next will be Elemental Benevolence. This is going to make it so when we give allies elemental buffs, we get some class ability energy back. Obviously, we're going to be giving them Restoration and Cure when they step over our Healing Grenade, so obviously just a nice little thing. And then we're going to use Fever and Chill, so that way our rapid precision hits with solar weapons will give us Radiant. Just a way that we're going to upkeep Radiant for sure, guaranteed 24/7. And then we're going to use Radiant Shrapnel, so that was when we deal sustained weapon damage with Radiant or defeating a Scorched combatant, which more likely we will be Radiant. It's going to cause the target to release solar projectiles that deal damage and scorch on impact. So yet again, another way it's going to enhance our build for having Radiant. And then last but not least is going to be Shield Crush. So this is going to make it that while you have Radiant, our grenade, aka our Healing Grenade, will recharge faster and then theoretically deal increased damage, but obviously you don't exactly deal more damage with a Healing Grenade. So it is going to make it though recharge faster, which is going to be extremely nice, because obviously that's going to make us so that should our restoration fall off of us, we run out, obviously no enemies in sight, we lose it. Well, if we have Radiant, it's going to come back a little quicker so we can throw it at our feet and put it back on us, and then get some kills and keep the timer going. So the artifact is a very nice way to enhance this build, and honestly, I can't wait to see what mods and Renegades we'll be able to put with this build as well. So that is going to be everything you need to put this build together. As you can see, it completely shreds. Not only do you obviously, as you've seen from all the stuff I've shown you, have Restoration, Cure, and Radiant at all times, which is pretty much 3 of pretty much the best perks buffs in the game. But it is also going to allow you to have a ton of golden guns. As you can see, I'm running through a solo op right here, and by the end, I'm going to have 5 supers. And honestly, I held on to my super a little long too, so I might have been able to push it to 6, 7, maybe even 8 supers by the end of a solo op. It is genuinely kind of insane. But as you can see, it completely shreds. I'm literally using my golden gun basically as a normal gun, but of course, it just pretty much one-taps everything. So it is completely crazy. This build is so strong, can be used obviously in anything you need it to be used in, because obviously it is just a golden gun build and even gives you and your teammates some restoration, some cure, and even radiant. So it is obviously a very, very good build to use in obviously some fire team ops, pinnacle ops, and all of that. So that way you guys can go ahead and use these and get that sweet, sweet loot. So with all of that being said, that's the end of the video. Let me know in the comments below what you think about this build, and let me know how it does for you in Call to Arms or anything else that you take it through. And with all that being said, if you like this build and you want to see more, then why not hit the like button, subscribe, comment, share, all of that good jazz, because it lets me know that you like the build and you want to see more. And why not join the family and stick around, because we got a ton of build videos already up on the channel for all 3 classes, for all the elements. But of course, we're also going to have more in the future, so why not stick around and see the future builds. With all that though, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, wishing you a lot of success in the final days of Call to Arms, and with all that being said, I will see you around the tower.